Hope you're all having a good day today. I have a weird cough, so I might sound weird. Today, I really wanted to talk about the zombie community being a little weird. DLC 2 for the Tomb is going to drop in exactly 2 days, which brings us to the 60-day period between DLC 1 and 2, which is pretty fast, getting another map. And the zombies community is really negative, complaining, nitpicking, and it's kind of weird. When the Season 2 roadmap came out, everyone was looking towards the zombies players and just being like, you guys have been fed all year long. If you look at any video complaining about Call of Duty, they will all say the zombies players are in a pretty good spot because of how fast we're getting maps, the quality of the maps, everyone's saying that the maps are good. Tim has made a video today that's saying zombies is bad. Lex has made multiple videos talking bad about the Tomb, and I've seen many tweets on Twitter questioning marketing for zombies, questioning hype, all while the general community is looking at Call of Duty Zombies being like, hell yeah guys, you guys are doing great. But on the other side, internally with the zombies community, it's kind of weird. Ghost of Hope tweeted, zombies fans actually look like entitled immature children for complaining after getting 2 maps and a bunch of other content in less than 3 months after launch. There are many reasons why zombies fans and mostly zombies creators are upset, and one, the views are just low. The hype of BO6 was extremely high, everyone got their thousands and thousands of views, kind of anomaly, so did I. And now, really the only thing that clicks just as much as BO6's launch is just being negative about the game. Now, content creators in their own mind, whether you like it or not, their mood and opinions kind of sway around content, If you do a lot of positive things and do fun content and do informational content, and that's really not clicking, but the more negative side clicks more with viewers, and that depends on your job, they are just going to naturally do that more, which is kind of unfortunate. It happens with a lot of games. Destiny right now is in a similar state where if you just say Destiny is bad, instant 1 out of 10. But if you do any normal content with Destiny, I would say Black Ops 6 Zombies is in a pretty good state. Terminus is a good map. Liberty Falls is a decent map. Citadel de Moors, in my opinion, was a huge hit. And the Tomb looks like a pretty good map. Terminus and the Tomb both have probably the craziest boss fights that we have ever seen in Zombies history. BO6 Zombies, in my opinion, is in a really good state. You're getting the second DLC map really quickly. Content creators are just going to trend towards more negative content because the viewers reward that. Another interesting thing is the actual criticism of what a lot of these Zombies YouTubers have, I just think is straight bullshit. Lex went on to say that the Tomb in general is just a boring name, which is ironic considering that we have very iconic maps, 5, Origins, Farm, and a common thing that I see across the entire community is that the story is really boring. I agree that the characters themselves are boring. Weaver is just, I hate Richtofen. Carver is God knows what's happening with Carver. And the overall plot of the story is way more interesting than anything from Cold War or Modern Warfare Z. We're going after the Sentinel artifact, which we found out in Terminus, and immediately went to go get the amulet. And supposedly we're supposed to see the Sentinel artifact in this map. This story is moving. There's motivations with Richtofen and his family dying, and then trying to apparently bring Primus back. The whole clash and lore between the Dark Aether and the Chaos story and the Primus storyline is all clashing together with some hints at World War II and the Vanguard gods and stuff. It's a whole clash of just all this lore coming together in this really unique way. And so I think the plot is pretty interesting. You can't ask a zombie YouTuber to actually give a shit. That would require asking a lot of people to actually think, and that doesn't really exist in the COD community anymore. One person that I will point out though is Mr. Ruffles. Philo has just been probably the best content creator in this entire scene, doing good content, not being a huge downer, being critical and negative when it's needed, but then also caring about the story, doing all these good videos. And you'll see Milo, more than anyone, is performing better than anyone else in this community. Also, just crazy nostalgia is taking over a lot of the community. I saw Tim said that he would rather play Transit over Firebase Z. Probably in your head, you would rather play Transit, but actually playing it down for an hour, you would rather play Firebase Z. Let's just be honest. Be completely honest with yourself. Now, with everything just being a little goofy, I do think there are some valid problems with this game that isn't just Call of Duty bad. Also, with the announcement of the Tomb, a lot of people are upset that the Ice Staff is coming back. Why would you be upset about that? That's cool as fuck. A lot of people are upset that the Amalgam is returning, which I completely agree. That's a valid point to be upset. I think the real issues with the game right now, besides people just saying, oh, nobody cares about the story, who cares about zombies, it's not replayable, Transit better, BO1 better, BO3, I think the biggest problem with Black Ops 6 Zombies is its identity. It doesn't feel like an arcade game, and most of that comes down to just fundamentals of movement. Attack sprint just feels horrible, especially in Zombies. Remove that shit. Gun sway and movement just feels incredibly too fast and weird and fluid like multiplayer. Like, it kind of just feels like 2019 Zombies. It doesn't feel like Cold War, BO4, BO2, where you're kind of stiff, you're kind of stiff, you aim up, shoot, pretty predictable recoil, and now it's like your gun is just A lot of those are pretty important in having an arcade shooter, and I think the HUD issues, which are going to get fixed soon, is also a pretty big downer, because a lot of people, if you're playing multiplayer, can't experience, you know, the true zombies HUD, because if you want to change your settings to experience the zombies HUD, then you go back to multiplayer and then realize you're more handicapped than Helen Keller, and you don't want to go back and change all of your settings and then go back to zombies and then change all your settings again. Luckily, that's getting fixed, so that will help with the immersion. Also, I feel like early game is just a little bit boring. If you're not using the Rampage Inducer, which is heavily encouraged to have like a fast early game, you can get to round 15 in like 7 minutes if you're just using the Rampage Inducer. But if you're not using Rampage Inducer, early game is kind of boring, predictable, same shit, different story, every single map, no matter what, along with a lot of Easter egg steps being capped to certain rounds, like round 10 on Sidoni Moors, just having to wait around. There's not much setup going on. You're kind of just sifting through rounds, which is kind of a problem. And then I think one of the biggest points is that there's just a lot of bad taste going on. A lot of people are upset about the AI things with the actors, but then there's a lot of misinformation going on with the AI actors. Some people think that just all the actors are AI, like Tim said, which I thought was fucking weird. Other people think it's more of an Activision thing, and to be honest, it's more of a SAG-AFTRA thing and what they're doing. We'll pretty much have to see what happens with that in the future, but a lot of what's being said of that is emotional, not knowing certain things. The microtransactions doesn't help anything, along with the Squid Games Red Light, Dead Light. That is just, I think the whole aesthetic of Squid Games is just really ugly, and that's on purpose. It fits the aesthetic of the show. Just having it in a video game, every time I see one of those skins, I just want to throw up. They look so fucking ugly. I also think a lot of the bad taste is just the community in general. A lot of people are dramatic, reacting to certain changes. I think one of the biggest cases of this is the Bastard Swords not being that great, and everyone freaking out about the fact that you couldn't just AFK until round 100 with the Bastard Swords, which I agree that they should have been buffed, and they did get buffed, and right now they feel good. But Treyarch has to walk this line because they don't want to be too simple like how Cold War was. Cold War was way too easy, and a lot of people had complaints with that, and they wanted it to be more engaging now. And I think this line of difficulty is really the problem with Black Ops 6, along with the arcade problems. Zombies used to reward you for pretty much knowing your shit, right? Knowing exactly what to do, how to do it, and mastering those skills is what, you didn't know what you were doing, you're pretty much going to have a bad time. If you didn't understand the map, knew how to train zombies, knew how to get set up, you would pretty much have a bad time. All that stuff doesn't exist anymore because they want to make the game more accessible. Their solution in general is to make the game harder, which I agree. The game does need to be hard, but the way that they did it is just make there be no learning curve. Now all your weapons suck by round 40. The wonder weapons aren't that good in general because they just don't want it to be incredibly easy. And then all high round strats are just spamming mutant injections and then those special grenades. That's literally it now. You know, there's no learning to get better, to be able to control the map better, to be able to set up better anymore. And that's because of how much they've made zombies accessible, which I think hurts the replayability. I don't think it's too big of an issue. Everyone can agree that BO6 is pretty much just a better version of Cold War, and maybe it's nostalgia, but in many cases, I think Cold War looks so much better. A lot of that comes to the bright colors, the old engine, even though the map atmosphere completely sucks dick. The HUD is more bright and colorful, the camos pop out more, the wonder weapons pop out more. Hopefully over the entire year and going into BO7, we have more identity with the game. I would be honest, Cold War in its very early state with just Die Machine was pretty rough, pretty rough. And now in 3 days, we're going to have the same amount of maps that Cold War had after its entire life cycle, which is just insane. So in my opinion, I just feel like there's lots of problems with zombie content creators trying to just go down this zombies bad, just trying to keep their jobs, paychecks. Like, I totally get it, man. That's tough. Then lurking and all that bullshit is valid criticism. I think what should be focused on the most to fix zombies right now is the newer maps having more fun and enjoyable high round strategies that isn't just mutant injection. I don't care if the gameplay is dead as shit. If I can sit in a corner and use that ice staff until round 3000, I am going to do it. I don't care if it's overpowered or broken. Let me do that shit. But yeah, I just had some thoughts on that. Totally out of order mess of a video. The Abyss grind for me, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. Excited for season 2 to come back, be able to get into the normal content. I've kind of just been in this limbo recently where I don't want to do Abyss. There's not really anything happening with Call of Duty. I've been playing more Marvel Rivals, which I am hard stuck gold. It's so bad. I think it's a pretty interesting situation, especially since all these videos keep popping up of zombies bad, zombies this, zombie that, and you guys are spoiled. Come on, guys. You have so much shit, especially after being on the back burner in Cold War, Modern Warfare Z, Vanguard, and now we're finally getting this. Be happy, because I am. I can't wait to play that map. So yeah, I hope you guys all have a great day. I'll see you later.